everyone. Welcome back. I'm Travis Howe, owner and founder of How's Canine Services LLC. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the structured walk, what that is and the importance of it. And my special guest today is little Athena. Say hi to everybody, Athena. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. She is such a good girl. We're going to pay her for that one. That was a pretty sit. Good girl. All right, so without further ado, let's get into some of the structured walk and what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so let's start off talking about this structured walk. So whenever clients come to me, let's go. Good, Tina. Good girl. Whenever I have a client with a reactive dog, whether it be food aggression, dog aggression, sit. Good girl. Good girl. Or any kind of behavioral problem like such, one of the first things I'm going to ask is, can you walk your dog? Now, when I ask, can you walk your dog, I'm meaning, does your dog follow you on the walk? Or is your dog walking you? Those are two very different things. If your dog is out ahead, pulling on the leash, pulling on the harness, good girl. Good job. Let's go. Good girl. If your dog's out ahead, pulling on the leash, pulling on the harness, which I do not recommend harnesses, I actively recommend against harnesses, and I'll cover that. Good girl. Good girl. Cover that in a different video for another time. But if your dog's out ahead and your dog is leading the walk, it means your dog is scanning the world. Your dog is picking out what's a threat, what's not a threat, and your dog is reacting to everything. When your dog is out ahead, your dog is basically making all the decisions for what to do in the world. So you have a dog who knows dog rules, but is expected to interact in the human world with the dog's understanding whenever their first choice and first instinct is to be, well, a dog. Instead, if we can build this nice structured walk, or look at this, look how beautiful this is. Standing there, good girl. There's a dog barking in the distance, but she's not even concerned about it. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, good job. The engagement right there. Good girl. So she is 10 weeks old. She's a 10-week-old Rottweiler, and I have better engagement training, good girl, with her. Good job. At 10 weeks old than I have in some of the cases I've worked with, which, not trying to put anybody down, just saying that, listen, good girl. Oh, you're so good. Yes, you are. They say level of engagement right here for a dog that wants to work with you is going to be the foundation for working on all those things. Let's go. Good girl. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So rather than tackling these behavioral problems head on, one of the things I'd like to do is analyze the situation from a distance. Good girl. Look at that beautiful turn. Nice, beautiful turn. A little bit of brakes. A little bit of brakes. Good girl. Good girl, Athena. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Good job. Break. So as I was saying, when I come to a case with a behavioral problem dog, what I'll do is observe from a distance and start looking at all the little factors that are going on leading to the buildup where there's some kind of eruption, some kind of good girl, some kind of behavioral problem going on. You missed a couple. Good girl. Because the way that I like to do my method is, instead of dealing with the problem at a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for intensity, if we can identify the factors going on back here at, let's say, a 2 out of 10, and then be able to do a small interruption at this point, then we don't have to deal with the problems over here at the extreme end. So what we can do back here at this lower level is, with this structured walk, we can begin to interrupt the sequence that leads to these. Good girl. Good girl. Not interrupt leading to the good girl. We like that. We can interrupt the sequence of events that leads to these eruptions and these activities, these aggression. Good girl. You're so good. I know. You're so good. Let's go. Whether it be doggy aggression toward another human, leash reaction of dogs wanting to bite the leashes, jerk, pull, whether it's a car go by. So by using a structured walk, we can interrupt all those because there's noise going on around me. Good girl. Good girl. And I can use that structured walk of her following me, of coming to a stop with me. Good girl. Coming to a start with me. If there was a dog walking across the road out ahead, I could come to a stop, apply a little bit of brake. Good girl. Good job. and then let that dog or that person or something, for example, there's a dog barking in the distance. That dog's not up here with us, that dog's inside of a house. But if that dog were in a fence, or if I were worried about that dog coming down in, I can, let's go. Good girl. And I can just remove my dog from the situation to where I never even have to worry about a problem. You can use the same thing if there is a kid on a bicycle coming by. If your dog likes to chase things, you can do these. Stop. Good girl. Good sit. I'll pay that. That was good. That was pretty. That was pretty. Good girl. Good job. Last crumbs. Good girl. So you can change direction to where now, instead of getting up in those events and ending up in those big explosive circumstances, we can use that structured walk and that following the leader to get out of the situation instead. And then, because you're working at the lower levels, you can do little interruptions, just little boink boinks on the leash rather than a much harsher correction. So why fight at a 7 out of 10 when instead we can make a little change back here at a 2 out of 10 to where we don't have to fight with that. And then what you'll find over time is those behaviors will start to drop off, and then the level of intensities will start to come down because we're going to bring the world down to a calmer level for the dog. Good girl. Will you do it down? Will you down? Oh wait, nope. That's my mistake. I changed the command. Putts. Good girl. I started off doing a down, but I want to keep the command something universal where everybody's going to use the same, whether she's with us or with family. Some people use off, some people use down when a dog jumps up. So in order to make it clear, I can either try to teach her 2 commands of the same thing right now, or I could just teach her one very unique command that people will know that's what that is. And then we'll let off and down become the same thing at a later time. Okay, heard a dog barking, not on the walk, not worry about here. It sounds like it might be in somebody's house. But as a responsible owner, good girl. As a responsible owner, it's one of the things we're looking for and looking at is what's going on in the world around us that may create a problem for us with our dog. That's the fair deal that we give them by being owners and being responsible owners. Is if they let us take the lead, if they follow us, if they look up to us for direction, Athena, good girl. We give them love, we give them praise, we give them treats, and most important of all, we give them safety as well. So that's just a little bit on the walk. We're going to do a little more back and forth. Good girl. Athena, let's go. For that nice, pretty walk. Following along. When I make the turn, good girl. She's checking back in with me and following along right as well. So I make that turn. Athena. Good girl. Got a little distraction going on, not a big deal. Checking in. Ooh, a little bit of brakes. Leave it. Good girl. That distraction became too much and she actually wanted to avoid that. We don't want to encourage that. We don't want to give in to that. We don't want the norm to be to run away. She's like, oh, you're too low for a selfie. We don't want her norm to be running away from something. I want it to be looking up to me. So she wanted to go. I don't know if you could catch that in the video or not. But then she wanted to continue going. That's when she got the little bump, a little higher. We're almost a correction. Not quite. I'm not really holding her very accountable in an intense level because she's such a young puppy. Athena, let's go. There we go. Little bump. Leave it. Good girl. Good job. Little click for the reward. Good girl. Yeah, so that's going to wrap up today's walk.